This is Gerardo Del Real with Resource Stock Digest. Joining me today is the president and CEO of Canasil Resources, Mr. Bahman Yamini. Bahman, how are you today?
Great. Thank you very much, Gerardo. Good to be with you.
It's great to have you back on. Happy New Year. I know that we're 3 weeks into it, but it seems like, and we talked a bit off air, it seems like it's still fresh enough and appropriate enough to say, right?
Absolutely. Likewise. And we're really looking forward to a positive year this year.
Agreed. And I think a large part of why Canasil shareholders are excited is because of the recent review that you outlined in a release of the potential for a significant high-grade mineralized system at the Nora Silver Gold Project, which of course is in Durango State, Mexico. I would love for you to provide some context on what you learned from the program, the results, and then what we can look forward to here in the next several months. I gotta believe you have a lot of interest on these projects that you have in the portfolio.
Well, of course, Gerardo, and Nora's building up to be a very exciting project. It was a maiden drill program on it in 2020, in the third quarter of 2020. And we were extremely pleased with the results. They were beyond expectations. All the 6 drill holes on the Candy vein intersected the vein. Of course, as is normal with these epithermal veins, with narrower and wider intercepts, depending on where we're hitting the vein. But all of them, and particularly holes 4 and 6, coming back with extremely high gold and silver grades, and we're hitting intervals up to 30 grams gold and 1.3 kilos silver. So this is a real confirmation that the Candy vein can return very significant high-grade gold silver mineralization across multiple intercepts. And what we have to remember is we're right at the top of the vein. We're drilling just below surface. And so that means there's a lot of room to depth to expand the system. And also we've been testing about 500 meters of the 3-kilometer strike of the Candy vein that we trace on surface. So a lot of room along strike as well. So the vein in itself, as a high-grade silver-gold epithermal vein, has tremendous potential. We thought it did, and now with the drill program, we know that it does. So that really justifies a much larger follow-on drill program to explore the Candy vein of the Nora project.
The high-grade results from the veins obviously are exciting, but I also am excited about the Breccia Targets. You have one called Cerro Los Turunos, and that is a bulk tonnage disseminated silver gold target. Can you tell me a bit about that? Because I believe this is the first time that you and I discussed this publicly.
Yes, that's correct. And this is all also part of the recent news release that you mentioned with the wider zones of potentially disseminated mineralization that we see at Nora. So we issued the news release with the geochem sampling results over 1,200 soil samples over an area of about 2.5 by 3 kilometers, covering the entire central zone of the project. And they really, the whole project area lights up. There's definitely very elevated gold soil geochem over the entire area, that's extremely pronounced over the Candy vein. And then silver geochem as well, all over the area, over the Candy vein, trending southwest from the Candy vein into the south, into the Cerro Los Turunos area that you mentioned, and then all over the eastern sector of the project area. So almost the entire 2 to 3 kilometer zone samples is lighting up with these both precious metal, gold and silver, base metal, copper, lead, and zinc, and also very importantly lined up with all the indicator minerals: the arsenic, antimony, bismuth, molybdenum, manganese, etc., cadmium. So everything is lining up to indicate that this is a potentially very large silver mineralized system, which is, we suspect it, but it's not, unexpected because of the location, because you're in the world's premier silver belt, very close to some large producing mines and very large deposits. So it's very encouraging. So there is a lot more than just a high-grade vein to look at Nora, and of course it needs further detailed geological work on the ground, additional sampling, potentially some geophysics, etc. But the particular one, Cerro Tarunos, that you mentioned is an interesting one because we noticed it's a relief point, topographic point, a hill that sticks out, and on the western side of it, we noticed the Breccia outcrop. So we went to investigate the Breccia outcrop, and the conclusion was that it appears that the entire hill may be a Breccia. It's not just a discrete pipe. But this needs to be looked at in more detail. This is what we're suspecting now, and it just shows that the project overall has much bigger potential. The southwest trending geochem anomaly, silver geochem anomaly coming off the Candy vein to the southwest, going west of Cerro Tarunos, is also a very interesting target as well. So really a lot of smoke at Nora. It's really building up to be a very, very interesting and exciting project.
When do you anticipate we'll know how you're going to follow up the recent drill program at Nora?
We're working on those plans actively. Of course, we're now focusing on the drill program at La Esperanza, which again we know is a very large target, a lot of potential there. We're drilling on the La Esperanza vein, so we're fairly busy on that. But at the same time, we're doing these reviews and evaluations on Nora to put together the program for a phase 2 program, which would cover additional drilling on the Candy vein, and also looking at a lot more detail at these disseminated targets.
Both of these properties are within an area of excellent infrastructure. That's important because if you can prove a resource of significance here, you're going to attract a lot of attention from producers in the area. And there are many that want access to a project with great infrastructure in a great jurisdiction, with labor that is experienced in mining. Of course, Zacatecas, where my parents and my family comes from, is known for having the world's richest silver mines. You have to be excited, Bahman, about 2021 because it could be a make or break year for both La Esperanza, which has a more robust history, and now Nora, which obviously is an exciting new discovery.
That's correct. And, a lot depends on the silver prices and silver, gold, precious metal prices, resource market conditions. Of course, in the last few months and also the last couple of weeks, there's been a bit of a flatlining of the precious metal prices and heading a bit lower, just bouncing around. In August of last year, we were up to close to $30 an ounce for silver. And then we headed down to around $24, and there was a bit of a pickup to around 26, and now we're back around 25. So I think with everything settling down in 2021, this should start heading higher with the economic conditions, with the stimulus packages coming through, etc. And that has a tremendous impact on our work and of course the share price as well. So I think 2021 is going to be an exciting year, and hopefully we'll have the opportunity to expand on these programs. We are working on the drill program currently in progress on the La Esperanza vein at the La Esperanza project. And again, that also we have to bear in mind, as you mentioned, it's in the world's premier silver district with the world-class silver mines and deposits, largest and lowest cost silver mines in the world are located within a 75-kilometer radius of La Esperanza. And this is a large project where we have 5 high-grade silver vein systems. And we're working on La Esperanza, where we've been drilling before, to expand the mineralized envelope there. But yes, you're absolutely right. I mean, good results on these projects and moving forward should generate a lot of interest.
A lot to look forward to. You mentioned the gold and silver prices. I'd like to remind everybody that it was just, in March, April, where we hit a low in the silver price of $11.94 an ounce. $25 today seems like a really, really good base given the amount of money printing, not just here in the US, but globally, and the coordinated effort by central bankers to reinflate basically every single asset class out there. I think it bodes well for gold and for silver, and I think the consolidation is welcomed, and I'd be very surprised if in a couple of months we weren't breaching that $30 level. We shall see, and then we shall see the results from the program. I'm excited to hear about it. Bahman, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate your time.
Thanks very much, Gerardo. Likewise. Have a great day.
And we'll chat soon. Like you mentioned, drills returning at La Esperanza, so I'm looking forward to that.
Absolutely.
Thanks again.
Bye-bye now.